Do you ever feel like white people have your back?
Oh, no. Well, it's an interesting conundrum because where we are as black people, we wouldn't be able to say, like, we wouldn't be free if it wasn't for white women. How odd that is to really say.
You said that we wouldn't be free if it wasn't for white women?
Because white women were the ones who actually started protesting with us. Which has always been interesting to me because if you actually look at the American hierarchy, black men do come before white women in terms of being able to vote, getting real jobs, and depending on how you are in 2021, the pay wage, if you will. So it's really interesting because, like, I have a lot of white female friends who will 100% fight for me. Like, the second I told one of them, like, yeah, they're trying to throw me under the bus, she actually went went into the manager's office and went, no, he's the best IT person we've ever had in the last 10 years. You guys need to chill the fuck out or I'm quitting. And she actually did quit. So it's like, it's a real interesting feeling. Because, like,
do you feel like black men have had your back like that in the same regard?
I really feel like as black people, we kind of go into like, look, this is your battle. I have bills to pay or some shit like that. They won't really have your back. They have your back in the back end. Like, outside of work, me and you be like, yeah, that's really fucked up. You know, you should say something. I got you. But then when you actually say something, we'll just be like, that has nothing to do with me. That's a different type of black. I need my job. I need my coins. Where, like, I went to private school my entire life. So I've been around Catholic nuns, white people. So I'm used to this. Like, I honestly tell people, I'm bred for corporate America. I know the bullshit. I've seen the bullshit literally 32 years of my life. So this is 100% of, like, oh, you're trying to play this game. I got you. I know to CC these people. I know to BCC this person. I know what you're doing. I know what you're trying to set up. And to go to that, like, 24/7, even during a pandemic, where you're, like, the only person coming into the office every day, it really takes a toll on you.
Are you in therapy?
No. Because I'm very...
So how do you deal with your mental health? Because that has to be, like, draining on your mental health as a black man.
It's draining, but then, like, I watch the news, and, like, I'm half Canadian, so I also have a Canadian education. So I try to take everything into my psyche. Like, I try to actually focus on everything else. There's no point in me being stressed out because this is literally how they are. And how Americans are trained now in this generation is, well, fuck you, I'm going to get a new job, expecting that to be better. Which, in some cases, it should, and you should look for a new job if that is the case for most people.
Turn on Howell Mill Road Northwest.
But I'm making enough money for me to be like, look, I'll put over your bullshit if I don't have to worry about a bill ever again.
So you're the way you do it in your head and your perspective is, financially, I'm able to really be free and abundant, where if I have to deal with these racist ass white people, it doesn't matter. But doesn't that still take a toll on your psyche as a black person? Like, even though you're financially abundant,
yeah,
do you have a peace of mind?
I have the good thing for me is I do have a peace of mind because my friends are going through the same shit in their companies. The only thing that's different is my actual company is a third-party vendor. So all these stuff that these white people are doing to try to fuck me over, one, doesn't hit my bottom line. My manager's like, hey, you're literally the best person in North America right now. Like, we have the stats so they can see that. It's a 100% disconnect of, you don't like me? That's fine. I can just go to another site. I don't have to really deal with you guys.
Do you think that there is a place in America that exists where there is no racism in the work environment for black people, like a utopia for black people where we don't have to deal with this shit?
Well, there was. I think West Harlem or somewhere in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
It was called the Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
And we all know they burnt that down. But I think today's day and age, there's always going to be a level of, hey, let's say you go to an all-black company. Like, you're just with black people.
Which sounds amazing to me.
It sounds amazing. But there's always going to be that one company bitch that everybody hates. That one person who's constantly going to try to throw people on the bus to get ahead. The only thing that's different is we're so used to white people doing it that when another race does it, you kind of go, really? Like, as IT, Indian men hate me with a passion. Because one, I'm American, and how America is, if you call a help desk, or service desk, or whatever you want to call them, and you hear an Indian person, you're automatically annoyed. But the second I say, oh no, I'm from New York, I'm American, born and raised, you kind of relax a little bit, like, oh, okay, we can get this done. Then I have.
Why do you think that is that Americans get annoyed by the Indian voice? That's not fair to the person that is of that culture.
Well, it's more of.
That's what we're expected. That's going to be the call of like something that we don't want to hear.
It's more of like a lot of movies, TV shows have the same stereotypes. That we're at that point as a race, well, as a society, I should say, where we don't differentiate television, social media. So if you're used to Indian men talking down to you or just giving an attitude right away, the second you are in a situation where you saw on the TV show, without thinking about it, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen this scenario. You're going to be a bitch to me, so I'm going to be a bitch to you. Where like me as a person, I try to comprehend what you're going through, and I know right off like, oh, you have a project due? Don't worry, I got you. I know what your issue is. I know how to solve it. Relax, I got you.
It feels like television in a way can hypnotize people into believing that's what you're saying is that's what their experience is going to be in the real world, when in actual reality the experience might be totally different.
100% different.
But because, do you think that the elite group of people, that's what they want for us to be like, oh, I know how this is going to go? Do they want us to stay divided? Do they want the racism to stay in the work environment? Is that what?
I think COVID lockdown was a good example of why they would want that. Because the second we were all home watching the news with nothing else to do, we all kind of went, hey, this is fucked up. Let's actually put our voices out there. Like the amount of protesting around the world, not just in America, globally, from people who are home going, hey, this is fucked up. Hey, you know what? Why am I spending so much in taxes for us to have fucked up roads and corrupt cops? So I think one thing my dad has always said since I was very little is everything you do is already scheduled. Why? Because it keeps you unfocused. The second you are unemployed, that's when you start to see the bullshit.
In a quarter-mile, make a right turn using the upcoming right lane.
If you think about school, 8 hours. Work, 8 hours. Oh, you have jury duty? Guess what? That's also 6 to 8 hours a day. They want you on the schedule because then you're not focused on what the bullshit they're doing. And the second we got off of that schedule, we realized the bullshit they were doing. So I 100% think, which is going to make my dad very proud, that they are trying to fuck us over. They want us to be separate. Because let's be very honest. If the black community got together like the Asian community,
left toward Interstate 75
where like
south.
Every state there was a Chinatown but for black people. How scared would white people fully be? If you had an injury right now and knew I had your back no matter what, yeah, I'm gonna talk shit about you, but I have your back. Like, oh, you need money? I got you, I don't care. How scared would people be? Because we're not gonna bow down to the crappy jobs anymore.
Toward Interstate
We're not gonna put up
75
with bullshit. Like, it's just,
So here's my question to
In a
you.
quarter mile, continue on to
With it
Interstate
being
75
such-
south.
You know, like Atlanta's known to be like a thriving black city.
Yep.
Do you believe that black people support each other?
Well, Atlanta's a good example
Continue on to
of
Interstate
black people not
75
supporting each
south.
other.
You said Atlanta's an example of black people not supporting each other?
It's a good mix.
Okay.
Because, like, people like me who will move down and take advantage of the opportunity that Atlanta's giving us, that's good. On the surface, that's amazing. But the people who are actually born and raised in Georgia are being pushed out because people like me are coming down and are willing to spend $1,000 in rent or plus. Like
But
in
some
New
people
York,
just don't have that money.
yeah, but they also don't have the skill set.
Yeah.
In a half mile, keep right to stay
and
on
then
Georgia 401
people
south
from
toward
Georgia
Interstate 75
always
south
say,
14th Street using the upcoming second lane from the right.
Nobody expected Georgia to become this big, well, Atlanta to be this big. You can stay in this lane because we're just going to take this exit.
Okay.
So like you have a lot of people who just have that mindset of, oh, we never expected Atlanta to be this big. That's why MARTA's a piece of shit. That's why the prices and everything's developing really quickly. But that's fine. But as a New Yorker, and this is actually me taking onus of me being from New York, how do you build anything and not expect it to be the best, baddest place possible? Baddest being the positive word in this situation. Not
Yeah.
Stuff like that confuses me. And then after like 3 million people move down one year, and you see that a constant every year, why aren't you trying to improve that?
Using the second
Stability.
lane from the right, keep right to stay on Georgia 401
Like,
south toward Interstate 75 south
if I was to
14th
ask you
Street.
right now-
Then take right exit 250 toward 14th Street.
Give me one Atlanta specific item. Like New York pizza, bagels. Give me one thing that's specific to Atlanta.
That's specific to Atlanta?
Yeah, like New York pizza.
Using the
I would say
second lane
trap
from the right,
music,
take
but
right
we're not
exit
talking about- we're talking about
250 toward
food?
14th
Yeah, like
Street.
what's its identity?
I
In a
would have
quarter
said,
mile, keep left onto Tetchwood
Black
Drive
excellence.
northwest
That's
using
pretty
the
much all you
upcoming
got.
right.
yeah, it's just a form of like, there's so many black millionaires and so many people that are black that are just thriving here. Tyler Perry, I would say Tyler Perry.
Who lives where I
Using the
live,
left
just
lane,
further
keep
up.
left onto
Yeah.
Tetchwood Drive northwest.
You need to get in the left lane.
Left lane. Okay.
It's really hard to identify. Like, I moved down 5 years ago.
In a quarter mile, make a left turn on 14th
Atlanta is
Street
completely
northwest
different
using the upcoming
than when I
right two
first moved
lanes.
down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Completely.
And I know people who moved down 3 years ago. and
But
they
it's not
say-
as it's more of a melting pot now. Like
more
it's
of a melting
not
pot?
it's not as it's becoming it's like it's a
Using the
mix
left
it's,
two lanes,
it's
make a left
weird.
turn
It's
on
like
14th
New
Street
York and a
northwest.
little bit of LA because you got New York people moving down, you got LA people moving down, and they're taking a lot of those jobs. And to live in areas like this, or even where you lived, or even where I live, it's expensive.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people are living on the outskirts of the city, but even the outskirts are probably just as expensive because
It's a like,
it's a
I
very
met
competitive
more-
city now.
I met more New Yorkers in Atlanta than I have in New York.
Yeah.
And that to me is interesting because like I'm used to paying $3,200 in rent. To come down and only pay $1,200 is okay. That was rude. See, even that's different. When I first moved down, nobody would blow the horn.
No, this is very much a New York City, like with driving. Like, and I was like, okay, I've been driving for a while. I'm like, I think I could probably drive in New York now. Because this is a mess. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. I do know people from Atlanta, but the city has definitely changed. I think it may be changing and evolving for the better.
So when I meet people who are actually born and raised in Georgia, I always ask that question. I always go just like this. Oh, that means you really got to see, Georgia develop. Do you think it's
In a
developing for
quarter
the better?
mile, make a left turn.
And they always say the same thing. They always do yeah. Because when I was young, you would never even stop in this neighborhood. Like, oh, when I was younger, this wasn't even here. This was the place to get drugs.
Yeah.
So, like, in that situation, I can see them, I see the progress, and I'm all about progress. Because as IT, which is always evolving, I have to be about progress.
Mm-hmm.
Make a left turn.
You cannot be IT and be stuck in your ways. That's not going to fly.
Yeah.
Which is another reason a lot of people don't like dealing with Indian tech support.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have this blatant mentality of, I know how to solve this.
Here?
Yeah, we're going to make this left.
Okay.
I know how to solve this. Why don't you know how to solve this? And they'll give you an attitude off of that. Or, hey, what's your issue? And you don't know how to explain it because this isn't your realm.
Yeah.
Like, you're creative, you're an artist. You're not thinking about, oh shit, my laptop's not working. Which is also interesting because my name is Islamic. And a lot of people call me Indian.
Mm-hmm.
Attitude. He really had attitude with you.
Everybody does in this.
You can go straight and then I can just get out.
Okay, cool. This has been this right here?
Yeah, it's perfect for me.
Okay, keep going straight,
You
or
can
you
keep going straight, so you're
Oh,
not blocking
yeah,
us.
gotcha. This has been a great conversation.
You can go to the left. We can make this easy for you to get out there.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.